Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, while the price of Bitcoin is continuing the bullish breakout on the larger timeframes, we're seeing a short-term cool-off, which is helping to reset the RSI and other price oscillators in the short term, while more liquidity is continuing to build just above the price of Bitcoin in the immediate short term, which I'll talk about in just a moment, alongside the price of Ethereum on this price chart, starting to run into critical resistance and possibly reject from this area, while the price of Solana has just officially retested a crucial level on the price chart. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin price chart, and the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market, while on this weekly Bitcoin price chart, we still technically have a bearish divergence forming, but not currently confirmed. So this is something to watch out for, but overall, we're still in a larger bull market on the larger timeframes. And if we're taking a look at this 3-day time frame, just over the last couple of days, we've now officially confirmed a new bullish crossover in the 3-day Bitcoin MACD. And the last couple of times this has happened, this signified a lot more bullish momentum coming over the next few weeks, if not months, for the price of Bitcoin. And once again, this is only just confirmed over the last couple of days. And so obviously on smaller time frames like the 1-hour chart, the 4-hour chart, etc., we can see little short-term pullbacks, short-term cool-offs and things like that. The price doesn't move in a straight line when we're talking about Bitcoin especially, but overall, when we're zooming out, looking at the larger trend or the momentum, we're clearly pointing in the bullish direction right now. And if we're taking a look at this 3-day Bitcoin price chart, this is also pointing in the bullish direction with a bullish breakout from a bullish price pattern, a cup and handle pattern, setting up a massive bullish price target at roughly around $153,000 per Bitcoin. And so from where we are right now to that price target, that's still roughly around a 30% move towards the upside as of recording this video with no leverage, or for example, a 10x leverage long position, that would be approximately a 300% profit in that example. As always, not financial advice. I'm just pointing out a price target which is currently active. It is in play, considering we have now technically confirmed the breakout with a 3-day candle close above this breakout level, above 110,000. And that price target would only invalidate if we actually see a confirmed break back below 110,000. So that's an important level on the price chart to actually hold above. So right now, obviously, while we're above that level, we're still looking very bullish. But as I always say, it's very unlikely we're just going to go straight towards that massive price target in a straight line. It's much more likely that we'll find some resistance along the way, see a little cool-offs, maybe a little pullbacks along the way, but still in a larger bullish trend, and especially zooming out to the weekly time frame, once again, still in a larger bull market. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin price chart, obviously just over the last half a week or so, we've confirmed a major breakout above this previous descending parallel channel, which the breakout level right here was sitting at around 109 to 110,000. And then so as soon as we confirm that breakout above 111,000, that first daily candle close at around 111k, obviously that was the signal to flip much more bullish, and ever since then, that's exactly what we saw. So right now, once again, we're still seeing massive bullish price structure, even if we see a little bit of a cool off in the shorter term from time to time. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin price chart, the next major price target or major point of resistance to watch out for based on the Fibonacci levels is this 1618 Fibonacci extension level on the daily time frame, and that's sitting at roughly around 121,000. So really in between around 120,000 to 122,000, in that low 120k area, I would expect some resistance and potentially a price target around there to start focusing on. But if we're zooming further into the short term, looking at just the 4-hour time frame, we can see that that previous pump that we saw just a couple of days ago obviously put the RSI on the smaller time frames well into overbought territories, basically telling us that we're starting to run out of room towards the upside because the price has gone too far to the upside too quickly, and we need a little bit of time to cool off just to reset the price oscillators like this RSI back down towards slightly more neutral levels, which can give us more room towards the upside later on. And so this is what I mean, in case you're new to all of this is what I mean by the price does not move in a straight line. It's very normal to see little cool-offs and things like that, especially after a major move in the price, just simply to reset these indicators, which once again can give us more room towards the upside because the trends, the momentum is still pointing in the bullish direction. It's just right now we're taking a bit of a break, a bit of a short-term cool-off to reset and get ready for that next major move. And if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation consolidation heat map, we could see some liquidity is below the price of Bitcoin at around 107,000 and 108,000, but obviously between the current price and those much lower prices, we have a lot of support in the meantime, so we'll likely bounce, for example, especially at the previous all-time high at 112,000. If we would actually pull back to those levels, we do have a lot of support between the current price and this downside liquidity, but what we could see in the immediate short term is a lot of liquidity building just above the price of Bitcoin, sitting at roughly around 119,000. So really in between 119,000 to 119.3k. So around there is the next major price target. That's extremely likely for the price of Bitcoin to actually hit those levels, because usually, not always, but usually the price of Bitcoin tends to move towards where there's a lot of liquidity. That's exactly what we saw just here, obviously only around half a week ago. And so history could be about to repeat. We could be about to see another little bit of a short squeeze, but once again, before seeing that, we're currently just seeing a bit of a cool off, helping to reset the RSI, which is healthy to have a more sustainable bullish trend. So we may end up seeing a little bit more of a cool off like this, maybe just for a few days or so in the immediate short term. And then because the trends, the larger momentum is still bullish, we could likely ultimately continue the bullish trend to take out that liquidity later on, maybe in a few days or a week from now, that sort of time frame. And so those are my expectations for the price of Bitcoin and the key levels to watch out for, price targets, etc. And of course, if you want more trading strategies, check out my last 1 to 2 videos here on the channel, because I talked much more about trading strategies in those videos. But in case you're wondering, yes, I'm still currently in my Bitcoin long position to trade this massive breakout trade here. And in case you're wondering, I'm taking that Bitcoin long position over on BTNX, so I'll make sure to leave a link to BTNX below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link to make your BTNX account, you can get some massive trading and deposit bonuses over here. For example, up to 18,200 USDT in bonuses here, but you can actually get deposit bonuses, trading bonuses. For example, if you deposit just $1,000, you get a $200 bonus into your BTNX account, but only if you use that link to make your account. And then you can also get, once again, up to $18,000 and even up to 40,000 USDT in trading bonuses if you're trading these large amounts here. And once again, those deposit bonuses. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, or if you're preparing to take the next trading opportunity, you might as well get set up ready to go using that first link below this video to BitNex. If you want to take advantage of these major bonuses, you might as well do that. It's basically free money. And in case you're wondering, BitNex is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. And for whatever reason, if you don't want BitNex as an exchange, there is also 2bit as another option out there, another exchange that I also use. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to 2bit below this video. And if you use that link, you can also get some massive trading and deposit bonuses over there. And in case you're wondering, 2bit is also a no KYC exchange. But with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, and obviously over the last few days, we've already confirmed a breakout above this very significant area of resistance, which was sitting in between around 2.7k to 2.8k, and we are running into a bit of short-term resistance at just above 3,000. So in between roughly 3,000 to 3050, we do have a short-term area of resistance around there, based on resistance at this candle wick that we saw back in late February, and also previous support flipping into new resistance at just above 3,000. And then above that, the next major target would be sitting in between around 3.2k to 3.3k. And as for support, if we were to see a little bit of a pullback here, expect a lot of support in this previous area of resistance flipping into new support, sitting in between 2.7k to 2.8k once again. And if we're taking a look at this 2-day Ethereum price chart, like I explained in my last video, we have a possible warning signal that is flashing right now for the price of ETH, which is of course higher highs in the price while forming lower highs in the RSI, which is a bearish divergence. But I want to make it clear, at least for now, this possible bearish divergence that is forming is not currently confirmed. It is not in play, because we need to actually confirm the lower high in place in the RSI by seeing some sort of rejection or pullback like this in the RSI actually confirm in place. And considering the RSI by default goes off candle closes, we need to confirm at least ideally a couple of 2-day candle closes in the red in order to actually see that confirmation signal before actually confirming the bearish divergence. And then if we see that confirmation, if we confirm the bearish divergence, only then I would expect it to play out, most likely for maybe a couple of weeks, in the form of either a short-term pullback or some choppy sideways price action, basically cooling off from all of the bullish price action here as a very likely scenario. But remember, only if we first confirm the bearish divergence. Right now, it's just possibly forming, but not currently confirmed. And if we're taking a look at this Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart, this is the ETH BTC chart on the daily time frame. So basically, in case you're new to all of this, if this chart goes towards the upside, Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. And if this chart's going to the downside, Ethereum is underperforming Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's doing better than Ethereum if this chart is bearish. And just obviously over the last 1 week, we've seen a major push towards the upside for Ethereum. And right around here, give or take, I said here on the channel that it's extremely likely we'll continue a little bit further towards the upside on the ETH BTC chart towards this exact area. And then I warned right here, expect resistance, expect the price to struggle in this exact area on the price chart. And since I said that around half a week ago, that's exactly what has now played out as predicted. And this area I'm talking about on the ETH BTC chart is sitting in between around 0.0255 Bitcoin per ETH to 0.026 Bitcoin per ETH. In that area right there on the ETH BTC chart, Ethereum versus Bitcoin, that is a strong area of resistance. As we can see, we've seen many rejections from this area. And so what this actually means in simple terms for Ethereum versus Bitcoin is that it's unlikely in the immediate short term, talking about the next few days, it's unlikely that Ethereum would massively outperform Bitcoin. Now, obviously, maybe in a week or a few weeks from now, it is possible that we could break out above this area on the ETH BTC chart. And in that situation, I would expect a continued major move towards the upside, considering that would be a major breakout above significant resistance. And in that situation, we'll see Ethereum massively outperform Bitcoin. So basically, it'll be better to hold Ethereum in that circumstance than Bitcoin if Ethereum is having larger gains, not financial advice. But obviously, once again, we're not there just yet. We're still currently struggling at this resistance, possibly seeing a bit of a short-term rejection here, which means at least in the short term. So for the next few days, as I just said, expect Ethereum to either perform similar to whatever Bitcoin is doing, or maybe slightly underperform Bitcoin. So Bitcoin slightly outperforming Ethereum if we see a little bit more of a rejection here for the next few days. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, Solana is still struggling and rejecting from my exact level of resistance, sitting at around $167. But like I've already been saying over the last few days, even if we see a further rejection here, even if we go all the way back down towards roughly 140 to 150, in that situation, that could still turn out to be bullish, because we could be possibly forming a much larger inverse head and shoulders pattern, which is a bullish price pattern. And that would actually require more of a pullback first in the short term, and then a bounce from roughly around 150, give or take, and then come back up towards this neckline at around 167, and then confirm a breakout above that level in order to actually confirm that price pattern. And in that situation, that would set up a major bullish price target towards the upside. But in the meantime, expect some support and resistance. First of all, some support at around 155 and major support in between 143 to 146. And once again, resistance at around 167, give or take, which is so far exactly where we've just seen a bit of a short-term rejection from. And then if we break out above 167, expect more resistance in between roughly 180 to 185. And if we're taking a look at the shorter term on the 8-hour Solana price chart, just over the last 1 to 2 days, obviously we first confirmed a breakout for this bullish cup and handle pattern with candle closes above the breakout line, the neckline, which was sitting at around 158, as we could see. And then just over the last 1 to 2 days, we actually came back for a slight retest, and so far we're currently bouncing from this previous level of resistance, flipping into new support, which is actually bullish price structure. It's important now that the price holds above this level and continues a bit more of a bounce, because this is very bullish if we can confirm a successful retest like this, flipping previous resistance into new support. And so for now, the technical price target for this breakout is still currently active. It's still in play, which is sitting at roughly around $194. So from where we are right now, as of recording this video, to that price target, that's almost roughly around a 20% move towards the upside with no leverage, or once again, a 10x leverage long position would be around a 200% profit in that example. And once again, if you're taking any trades just like this, check out the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim those massive bonuses that are only available using those links. But if we actually see a confirmed break with candle closes back below around $158, back below this line right here, in that situation, that would of course invalidate the breakout towards the upside, invalidate this pattern, and completely invalidate the price target, which is essentially the point of invalidation for this entire trade. But obviously, if you've been watching my last few videos here on the channel, you would already know that I've been saying I would not necessarily open a long position right now at these levels, considering the fact that we do have a lot of resistance just above the price at around 167, give or take. take. So in between roughly 166 to 168, once again around 167, we do have a lot of resistance around here in the short term, which is a potential risk in the short term for a long position, which is why I've been saying, even if we've confirmed this little breakout on the 8-hour time frame for this bullish price pattern, we cannot ignore other support and resistance where the price can possibly reject from or struggle at. And so that's why I cover many different charts in these videos, not just rely on one pattern or one chart by itself, because obviously there's many different things that can impact the price of Solana along with the price of basically any crypto asset. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the daily time frame, XRP is still in this major bullish move towards the upside, but obviously we've just run into major resistance at roughly around $2.90. So in between around $2.80 to $3, basically in that area right there, we have a lot of resistance, as we could see, based on this Fibonacci level and also based on previous resistance in that area. But if we can ideally confirm a breakout above $3 with candle closes above $3, in that situation, it would be extremely likely we'll just continue towards the all-time record high at roughly around 340. But once again, at least for now, we're still somewhat struggling around this level of resistance. And as for support, if we were to see a bit of a pullback, I would expect a lot of support in this area based on previous significant resistance flipping into new support, sitting in between around $2.55 to $2.62. And if we're zooming further into the short term, taking a look at the 4-hour time frame, we can see that just like Bitcoin in the immediate short term on the 4-hour time frame, XRP is also now cooling off from overbought territories. Obviously, we saw that major bullish move over the last few days or so, which put the RSI well into overbought territories, especially on the smaller time frames here on the 4-hour chart. We got extremely overbought, which is basically telling us that we've gone too far to the upside too quickly. So an overbought signal tells us that we're most likely going to see maybe a slight little cool off in the short term, and that's exactly what we're starting to see. We're basically just helping to reset the RSI, cooling off a little bit in the short term to potentially continue the bullish trend later on. So right now, of course, on the larger time frames, the trends, the momentum, the price structure is still looking very bullish. It's just in the immediate short term, we're taking a little bit of a break, a bit of a cool off to reset some of these indicators like the RSI. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, Chainlink is also now running into significant resistance again, which is still sitting in between around 1530 to 1550. So just over the last 1 to 2 days, we already saw a small little rejection as basically the price started to struggle from this area, but previously we've seen many important rejections and also bounces from this area in between around 1530 to 1550. So once again, this is a significant area on the price chart to pay attention to, and currently because the price is below that area and obviously just testing that area, it is still currently acting as resistance. But if we were to see a confirmed breakout, ideally with a daily candle close above around $15.50, and especially if we hold that as new support, in that situation would likely at least see a move up towards roughly 1640, and then above that I'll be targeting around these local highs here back in May 2025, and that's sitting in between roughly $17.50 to almost $18. But if we were to see another little rejection here, a slight little pullback in the short term, expect support at roughly 1440 to 1450, and major support in between around 1370 to 1390. But similar to Solana on the daily time frame, the price of Chainlink can really look bullish either way, no matter if we see a further rejection here or a breakout here, because of course if we break out above 1550 with confirmation, a breakout above significant resistance by itself is of course bullish for the price, targeting much higher prices. But if we were to see a bit of a rejection from this level first and then maybe a breakout later on, we could possibly form a massive inverse head and shoulders pattern here, as we could see, which once again is a bullish price pattern that is possibly forming on the price chart but not currently confirmed. But as I always say, Chainlink and a lot of the major altcoins follow very similar price action to whatever Bitcoin is doing. So if Bitcoin plays out a slight little cool off like this and then maybe a continuation of the bullish trend later on, it's very likely that we'll see something similar for Chainlink and a lot of the altcoin market as well. And once again, if you want to get set up ready to go to take that next trading opportunity in the price of any crypto, check out the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim those massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can trade crypto no matter what the price is doing, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit during choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.